history, there have been many philosophies that have shaped the thinking of societies around the world. Some of these philosophies have impacted in very interesting and reflective ways, while they have also influenced in very negative ways. In this video, we will be talking about four main philosophies: Eastern philosophies, Atheism, Postmodernism, and Existentialism. These four philosophies gained great influence around the world, contributing different ideas on how people should look at life. We will explain and analyze each of these different philosophies by understanding their main points and reasoning. Let's start!
Eastern philosophies come from Asian countries such as China, Japan, Korea, etc. The purpose of these philosophies are to make us wiser and be able to enjoy life a little better. The way that these philosophies have tried to approach to this purpose is by connecting with nature or finding peace. Of course, these are different philosophies, but they have many similarities and key points that will let us understand a better sense of their logic. A very important point is that life is suffering. In effect, we shouldn't try to expect anything good from life and actually be aware of the tragedies that may come to us. By acknowledging this, we can leave out the bad stuff and truly enjoy the small pleasures of life. Another very important point is to practice kindness, mercy, and an overall positive attitude towards others. This comes from the idea that our feelings towards somebody are not fixed, and that's why we should try to treat people the best way possible. Another very important point is to go with the flow. This means that we should surrender and accept our reality and not try to go against our situation. This doesn't mean laziness, but it means reaching a state of surrendering. If we want to look at atheism, we might as well want to look at Friedrich Nietzsche. Well, that is actually not Friedrich Nietzsche. This is Friedrich Nietzsche. Atheism comes from the ideas of Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy is not actually atheism if we base it on modern terms of what atheism is. But by looking at Friedrich Nietzsche, we have a better understanding of what atheism stands for. Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher. He is known for its very bad relationships, or lack thereof. He made a very famous statement that God is dead. This doesn't mean that God as an entity has died, as for Nietzsche didn't believe there was such a thing as a God. What he meant with this is that society has killed the idea of God. Nietzsche thought that Christianity was dangerous in the way that it didn't let us live at our fullest. This relates to the idea that all religions are just simply nonsense. The idea of the existence of a God is just a delusion according to atheism. Atheism stands on the idea that we should only rely on science and get rid of that religious nonsense. As for existentialism, we can look at four different philosophers: Sartre, Kierkegaard, Camus, and Heidegger. The first point for Sartre is that things are weirder than we think. This means that things have a much profound meaning than what we only see. The second point is that we are free. Humans experience a sense of anguish because everything is possible. The third point is that we shouldn't live in bad faith. This means that we shouldn't assume that things can only be done on one way and shutting our eyes for other possible solutions. In an overall perspective, Sartre addresses the exploration of freedom. Kierkegaard wants people to give up their cozy sentimental illusions of life. He suggests that no matter what, one can never feel satisfied, and that the feeling of regret will always be there. He actually believed in the simple truths of Christianity, the teaching of Jesus as a surrender to life of such simplicity. Now, Camus. Camus describes a state where one just simply loses the ability to feel sympathy for others. He addresses the question of whether life is actually worth living or not. He argues that we should live without trying too hard, since everything will be pointless at the end. Even still, he encourages a positive attitude and actually trying to look for the beauty in life. Now let's look at Heidegger. He said that everything is connected to the simple fact of being. People should become more aware of the nothingness in life. Get over the sense of being thrown into life and actually live authentically. Now let's look at postmodernism. In postmodernism, there is no absolute truth. In this philosophy, every person defines its own truth. Postmodernism is characterized by its broad skepticism and a general suspicion of reason. Postmodernism has really shaped the way that Western societies think. Many ideas have arisen with the development of postmodernism. Gender ideology, for example, has a strong postmodernism foundation. As you may know, gender ideology tries to avoid biological and scientific facts. It states that anyone can identify with whatever gender they want. Now, if you try to go against these ideas, it doesn't really matter because according to postmodernism, anyone can make up their own truth. It is the same as saying that I claim to be the most powerful magician in the entire universe. And if you don't agree with me, it doesn't really matter because I can make up my own truth. Now let's do some comparisons of these philosophies. We're also going to compare and contrast these philosophies to Christianity. And then we can make some conclusions. Now let's go.
So, among all of the philosophers, there is a common theme of them trying to describe the human condition according to their perspective in their own way. Even though, for the most part, the beliefs are very different, there is one thing in common. They all believe that humans are failing at being humans and living their lives to the fullest. One of the things that the philosophers are trying to decide is the real purpose of life and how humans should be living. They're contemplating the freedom of people and the true purpose, if any, of life itself. As Christians, many of these beliefs go directly against what we fundamentally believe to be true. For Buddhism, for example, they believe that life is suffering with no hope in it. However, as Christians, Jesus Christ is our hope. He's the hope for humanity in our brokenness and in our troubles. As for Taoism, that believes that life should just go with the flow and we should all just follow whatever it is the universe desires, that's against Christianity because God says that He has a plan for us and He knows everything that will happen from the day we are born to the day we die, giving humans still the opportunity of free choice to decide to do whatever we want. Even still, we should not do whatever we want, for we are called to live lives that are honoring to God in every way.
As for the main Western philosophers and their respective philosophies, they believe that each person defines his own meaning and purpose in life. However, this also goes against Christianity, because we believe that God has purpose and He gives us purpose in life. So with believing that we come up with it on our own is taking the place of God and saying that we can define whatever it is we want, but without Him we are nothing. As Christians, it is up to us to determine how it is best for us to serve God within His will. Generally, all of these philosophies we have looked at have the idea that we just have to follow life blindly and look to find purpose in all of the things that we have around us. But Christianity is unique in that it gives us purpose. And even though we are flawed and broken, it still gives us reason to live and still gives us a reason to exist, even though we are messed up human beings.
One might ask, what can we learn from these different philosophies? One of the things we can learn is that humans should not think too highly of themselves, according to these different philosophers. In general, all of them had in common the one main thinking that humans were less than what everybody thought and what everybody was saying around them. So, with this, we can take away that we are obviously less than what we think of ourselves as the centers of the universe, we might think. But we are mere humans, and that is something that we need to learn and grow to deal with.